it's Aprila here and welcome back to my channel. First of all, I want to say thank you for all of the love and support that I have received on my previous videos, especially the moving to UK to Nepal. That had so many positive responses, so thank you so much. A lot of you actually reached out to me with your own questions and concerns because you're also considering doing the same. So what I wanted to do in this video is to kind of put all of that together and even share my own experiences with you. So if you are relocating to Kathmandu, Nepal, or even considering it, then make sure to keep watching because I'm gonna go through all the topics that you need to kind of consider and plan before you actually move out here. And I also want to mention that I have been living in Kathmandu for over 2 years now, but I am also someone who doesn't have any commitment and I don't have any responsibilities. So what I'm going to share with you today is going to be based on my experiences as a single young woman living in Kathmandu. I understand that not all of you might be in the same position as me. You might have commitments, you might have responsibilities, and you might be a little bit more older than I am. So if you find this video really helpful, then maybe what I can do is I can introduce my parents to you guys and get them to kind of share their own experiences, and hopefully that will also help you with your move or help you make that decision to go for it and come out here. Okay, so this is going to be a long one. I've got a lot of topics that I want to go through, so make sure to grab yourself some tea, coffee, make yourself comfortable, and let's get started. Now, there are many types of visas you can get if you want to come to Kathmandu, depending on what you're here for. But for me, when I arrived here in 2020, I was able to get the tourist visa on arrival at the airport. So I'm not sure where you are from and what rules apply for you, but if you are from the UK, Australia, America, Canada, and some European countries, then you can get visa on arrival. So I got mine for 3 months and I paid around £100. So my essentially plan was to stay here in Nepal for 3 months and then to go traveling across Asia. But of course, things didn't go to plan, and 2020 was definitely not the year that anybody had ever expected or planned for. So all of my plans of traveling got cancelled. So at that time, I really had to think, like, do I want to stay here? Do I want to go back? And I even had to explore different visa options. And when I was doing this, I actually came across NRN card. Okay, so an NRN basically means non-residential Nepali. And the reason why this kind of stood out to me a little bit more was because if you do have an NRN card, so let me quickly say before I go on with that, that you do have to have Nepali origins to be able to get that card. Okay, so it's not available for everybody. And luckily I was able to get that. So with this card, this lasts for 10 years. Of course, you can renew it afterwards, but during that 10 years, anytime you come to Nepal, your visa is free. Okay, and the whole process and card only costed around I believe £365. So if you remember, I spent around £100 just to stay here for 3 months. Okay, but if I get the NRN card, I can stay here for 10 years and I only paid like £300, right? So it just made more sense for me to get this NRN card. Of course, there are other benefits, so let me read that for you. So as an NRN citizen, you can get free visa for 10 years. You can open up a bank account. You can buy, own, and sell properties. You can start a business, and you even can have some tax benefits as well. So at this time, obviously, we were just going through our first lockdown here in Nepal, and we were still trying to figure a lot of things out. So what I did was I actually filled out my NRN form electronically, and I sent it to my parents who were still living in England at that time, and they just printed it off and submitted it to the embassy in London. And I believe in like 3 days, my card was ready. So the process was really simple and easy. The documents that they asked for you are not that difficult either. And I believe you will have easy access to that. So if you are someone who has Nepal origins here and are able to apply for this card, I definitely recommend that you do get it. And I would recommend that you do it in your home country before you come here. Because obviously there is an option to do it here, but I promise you it's gonna be a lot more smoother and easier and convenient for you if you just do it in your own home country or wherever you are, because you can just go to the embassy and apply for it. So it's pretty easy to get your NRN visa card. So this one is going to be quite important, and it's going to really affect your life here in Nepal and how much you enjoy it or not. Now, I've been here for 2 years, and for 2 years I have spent my time in Kathmandu. Even prior to going to England with my family when I was like 6 years old, I was actually raised in Kathmandu, so that is all I know. So I'm gonna give you my experiences from living in Kathmandu. So I have lived in about 2 to 3 different places around Kathmandu and in Kathmandu. So depending on what you are looking for, you know, if you want to be living in the city, if you want more peace and more, you know, quiet countryside life, or you want to be around a lot of expats or whatever it is, I would suggest that you think about that first, like what is really important for you. And the second one, so this one is going to be even more important than the first one, is going to be, so obviously if you are here for work, where is your office located? Okay, so Kathmandu is very small, and if you go to Google Maps and search for your office and areas around it, it will tell you that it will only take you 10 minutes or less to go from that side to the other. But I kid you not, do not believe Google Maps, because the traffic here is so bad. So even if it tells you that it's only like 1 kilometers away or 10-15 minutes away, which is nothing, because, you know, for me when I was in London, I had to commute for like over an hour. So you might be thinking, yeah, that's okay. But trust me, the traffic here is so bad, and it will really affect you like mentally. Like, you don't want to be stuck in traffic for hours and hours when you could be home with your family, you could be with your friends, or, you know, doing all that stuff. So I would really suggest that you do live somewhere near your office if that is where you have to be commuting to every single day. So I would really suggest anywhere that's between 1 kilometers would be a really good, or even nearer would be really good for you. So definitely consider that as well. Now, obviously, as I am Nepali and I can speak the language, it has been quite easy for me to, you know, find places and to get acquainted with the area, to, you know, make my new routine and stuff. But obviously, if you do not speak Nepali, then I would really suggest that you do look for the places that have a lot of expats. And for me, I have lived like in quite a lot of different areas, but for me, I would prefer the Batan or the Lalitpur side. So anywhere from Jamsikal, Sanipa, Batan, those areas are very populated with expats. And not only that, but they have a lot of like things tailored to that. So even if you want to eat certain type of food, the restaurants, even like clubs, the gym, even the accommodation, they're really customed for expats. So if you want to kind of be in Kathmandu, experience Kathmandu life, but still have, you know, the comforts that you're really used to from back home, then I would definitely suggest that you do stay in that Lalitpur side, which I mentioned. But if you are not that bothered and you're here for a new adventure or a new challenge, then personally, I feel like Kathmandu, the city itself, is very, very modern, and people here are so friendly, and most people can speak really good English. And even if they don't speak really good English, they're always really helpful, and they're willing to, you know, help you out or even start like basic conversations, so you don't have to worry about, you know, trying to fit in or trying to find accommodation here at all. Now, if you are looking for accommodation to rent and if your employer is not providing it for you, then these are some places that you can have a look at. So you can have a look at Airbnb, you can have a look at Hamro Bazaar, and another one that is really, really good and has worked for me every single time that I have looked for places and my friends is Facebook groups, especially this group called Kathmandu Expat, which has been my lifesaver for me when I've been here in Kathmandu. Seriously, people will post there and advertise if they have any flats or if they have any houses, but more than that, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, you can pretty much type there, and the whole group and community are so friendly and helpful, and they'll give you so many options and help you out. So definitely check that out if you want to have a look at the accommodation before you come. I would suggest that you definitely come here for a few days and then decide what kind of area you like before committing to it, and also having looked at the place firsthand, because it's going to be quite different. And obviously you need to check all the important things like water, the sound, the Wi-Fi, all of that. So definitely do not commit to anything before you come here. Now, when it comes to the prices of the rent, it really depends on what you are looking for and where you are looking for. So just to kind of give you an example, I have rented a flat in Lalitpur area. So this was a very nice area in a very nice building. It was fully furnished. I didn't have to pay for any of the bills. I had even weekly cleaning. So for that, I paid around 45,000 Nepali rupees. And then I've also rented another apartment in Lazimpat. So that's kind of like a central area, but this was only a 1-bedroom flat, and it was still a very nice residential area, a very nice building. And for that, I was paying 35,000, which I know it might be a little bit more than what a regular person here in Nepal would pay for. But thinking about the fact that everything is included, so I didn't have to buy any furniture, I didn't have to pay for my bills, I think it's pretty good, a decent price. And also, I remember back in the days in London, I used to pay for like, just for one room, I had to pay around £750. So for me, I was happy to pay this much. So obviously, like I said, it does depend on what you're looking for and what area you are looking to rent in. But if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, for a 2-bedroom flat apartment with fully furnished, everything included, I wouldn't pay more than 80,000 Nepali rupees. So that's around 500 pounds. I really wouldn't pay any more than that, because you can get amazing, amazing apartments in that budget, in nice areas with all the amenities and services. So definitely make sure to check that out. So for a lot of you, you might actually have a new job posting in Nepal, and that's probably why you're moving here. But if you're not, then you can definitely find jobs here. And the best way to do that is by networking and meeting with a lot of people. So I do know a lot of people who have moved back from UK or from wherever, come to Nepal and even gone into a new career and employment. So you can definitely have a look at doing that. But unfortunately, the wage, so the minimum wage would be quite low. I think it's around 20,000 Nepali rupees for like a professional. So again, if you have a look at the rent and other things, the numbers really don't add up, right? So for me, I obviously didn't come to Nepal to get a new job or a new career, and I was lucky that I actually worked for myself. So I'm gonna go through how I kind of created money and was able to sustain my life here. So the first one is I have my own marketing agency, so I offer marketing services to my clients. So that's something that you can do if you have a service, if you have a skill or a high service that people can pay for, then you can become your own freelancer and start something and get clients like that. I also did coaching as well, so I had my own programs and I coached and mentored people in their business as well. And a third thing that I also did while I was in Nepal was I also teached English to students in China. So if you are from the UK or from other, English speaking countries, you can actually teach people how to speak English online, right? So simple and easy. All you need to do is get yourself qualified, which doesn't take long. I did my TEFL test, which took me I believe 3 months to complete. And then once I was qualified, I was then able to apply for jobs online. And then as soon as they accepted me, I was able to teach students online. So it's such an easy, simple way to use what you already have, which is the ability to speak English, and able to make income from that, right? So that's something that I also did. Now, I don't want to go too much into that, but if you are interested in starting your own online business or earning extra income, then I can definitely create a new video for that. So just let me know in the comments if that's what you would like to hear from me more. Now, this is a topic that so many of you have asked me, and even personally contacted me for this. And this is about how to move your stuff from your home to Nepal. So if you are one of those whose company is actually going to fund and pay for all of your moving process to be done, then you are so lucky. And I will tell you now, make sure to pack everything. Even if you don't think you're gonna use it, just pack it and bring it, because you will use it, because there is nowhere else that you're gonna be able to find it here. So definitely do that. But if you are unlucky like me, then I'm gonna share with you 2 ways on how I actually sent my cargo. The first way that I did it, and this is only for clothes, okay? So not for other household equipment and stuff, but if you have a lot of clothes and you want to ship that, you can actually find cargo companies that do this. And what you have to do is you just drop your bag or box, whatever it is, and they actually deliver it all the way to Nepal. They even clear it for you, and somebody will actually deliver it to your house in Nepal. So I actually did that when I just needed some of my clothes that I couldn't fit in the plane. So I paid around, I believe, 100 and something pounds, I'm not too sure, and it was an additional 30 kilo bag, and it was just filled with clothes. So for that, I found it really simple and really convenient, because like I mentioned, I just dropped it off into the cargo office, and then when I was in Nepal, it did take a little bit longer. I think maybe a month later, somebody actually brought it to my own house. So that's how it worked. Now, the second way that you can do this, and I'm sure you saw this from my previous video, so if you haven't already, definitely check that out, is you can actually get a cargo company to ship all of your household stuff, even furniture, obviously clothes and everything. They can ship that from your country to here. Now, the reason a lot of people have been asking me about these kind of cargo and shipping is because the cargo and shipping rules here in Nepal are not that straightforward, and it's not very clear. It's quite confusing, and there has been so many horror stories about how people get scammed. There are things go missing, so I can understand why a lot of you wanted to know about this. So I'm gonna tell you my experience through this. So what we did is we found a company in England. So I'm gonna put all the details down below in the description anyway. So basically, I found a company in England, and what we had to do was we had to pack all of our boxes and bags or whatever, and then they came to my house. They actually loaded the truck, and then they would themselves deliver it to Nepal, and this is by air. And they did this really quickly. I believe within a week, it was already here in Nepal. Now, once it's in Nepal, then that's when it gets tricky, because then you have to yourself go to the customs, clear it, and then get all your items. Now you can go there as yourself to claim it, but like I said, it's a bit tricky. The rules aren't very straightforward, and sometimes you can get easily scammed and you can end up paying a lot just to release your items, or sometimes they can actually go through your items and you'll find a lot of things missing, or they can confiscate things as well. So these things do happen. So what we did was we actually got an agent here. So this agent, of course, we had to pay for him, we had to pay for the fees, but he was able to get our boxes and cargo and clear it out and then bring everything home. So for us, that was the best way that we could do it. So I'm gonna go through the figures with you exactly to let you know how much we paid and if it's really a good decision for you or not. So in total, we had about 25 packages, I believe, but the weight was around 568 kilograms, okay? So we paid around 2,222 pounds in the UK to the cargo company for them to ship everything and bring it to Nepal. So when it was in Nepal, we then had to pay the agent. So we had to pay for like storage, we had to pay for the custom, even like the gate pass ticket, obviously for the porter, we had to pay for our transport, the fee, the taxi. So in total in Nepal, we paid an additional 5,200 and 250 Nepali rupees, which is around 318 pounds. Okay, so in total we spent around 2,540 pounds. So that works out as £4.47 per kilogram. That's right, per kilogram. So for us, that was really beneficial, and I feel like we got a really good deal. But the only reason that was a good deal was because we had that many packages and we had that many weight, right? So if you do have a lot of boxes that you need to ship here, just like we did, then it's definitely beneficial. But if it's only like, a few boxes here and then you can see how that would be completely different and it might not be worth it for you. Okay, so definitely have a look at that. For those of you who do have an outside license from abroad and you want to drive here or ride a bike or scooty, it doesn't matter what your license is. So for example, I know that a British license is considered quite high, and if you go to other countries, then it is acceptable to drive a car and stuff. But here, I mean, don't quote me on this, definitely do your research and check it out. But you are able to drive here, but you still have to do like a little test and you still have to, like, I believe, register yourself. So definitely check that out. But if you're like me who don't want to drive here, then there are so many taxis available and it's so easy to get one to go to places. For me personally, I use a lot of these taxi booking apps. So I use Batao, there's even Tutal. So these are equivalent to like Ubers when we get home. And what I love about them is it's really easy, convenient, and the fares are reasonable. You can also choose your ride, so you can either go for a taxi or a bike or a scooty. So obviously if you opt for the bike and scooty, it's going to be a lot cheaper, and if it's just one person, then obviously it makes more sense, and also you can kind of avoid jams because bikes and scooters can fit in. But of course, if you have more people with you, then you can choose a taxi. So it does give you that option to do that as well. So I don't know if you're already in Kathmandu or you know a little bit about Kathmandu, but the taxi fares are so inconsistent and you really have to like bargain for your price, and you have to like go back and forth, and sometimes it's just so frustrating and it can really ruin your mood. It's happened to me a lot of times. There were a lot of places where maybe I couldn't get Batao or Tutal, so I had to get a taxi, and the fare that they're quoting is so much, and I'm going back and forth arguing with them, and it really does piss your mood or ruin your mood. So for that reason, Batao and Tutal are a really good option to have. because obviously the fare is already estimated for you and you know exactly what you're paying, and it's really reasonable as well. But like I was mentioning before, there are other places that do not have patao or tutul just because it might be a little bit far, it's like busy times, or whatever it is. So I have this little trick that I do. And what that is, I basically just go to patao or tutul and I enter my destination, and then it will give you how much it costs. So when you are bargaining with your taxi driver, then you can tell them, look, this is how much it's in patao, so I'm willing to pay you this much. And usually that's a good place to start. Otherwise, if you are from abroad, especially if you're in London or whatever, then taxis and Ubers are quite expensive. So you might be coming here and thinking, oh my god, 500 rupees, that is so cheap. That's not even like my bus fare or whatever. But actually, it might be way more off than what you should be paying for. So always have patao or tutul on hand. Even if you don't have a taxi near you or can't get anyone, at least you know exactly how much you should be paying. So definitely try that out when you're here. Now my favorite part, and probably something that you guys are also thinking of, is how am I gonna make friends with people? You know, a lot of you might be leaving your family or your friends behind and coming to start this new adventure to a new place or whatever. So you might be feeling like, where am I gonna make friends? Well, first of all, what I'm gonna say to you is don't worry at all, because if there is one thing that I can promise you is that Nepali people are so friendly, super friendly and super helpful. So even if you are not outspoken or you're quite an introvert, trust me, you're gonna be fine. Just come here, just introduce yourself, just speak to anybody that you meet. It could even be like people in your neighborhood, it can be people in your gym or whatever. Just start a conversation and most people will be open, and actually they'll be more keen to have a conversation with you. So that is definitely something that's amazing here. I mean, in London, you definitely cannot just walk down the street and, you know, start a conversation with somebody. They'll think you're completely weird, but here it's completely normal. And I know I am a familiar face and I can speak the language, so you might be thinking, well, of course it's going to be easy for her. But trust me, even if you don't look like me and you're not from Nepal, people are actually going to help you out even more because they want to welcome you, they want you to enjoy this place, and they're generally interested in having that conversation, so you don't need to worry. For me, I've actually came here with no friends and I made some amazing friends, and one of my best friends I actually met in a nightclub. I know, in a nightclub, but I swear to you, most of my meaningful conversations have happened in the girls' toilets in a nightclub. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the atmosphere, the environment, but there is just so much support, so much empowerment going on, and like I said, I've had such meaningful conversations in there, and I actually met one of my best friends from there, and of course we are now really good friends. But aside from the nightclubs and bars, you can actually meet a lot of people. There's always like activities going on, there's a lot of group things going on, and obviously because Kathmandu is very much a tourist destination, there will be like, if you want to go hiking, if you want to go explore somewhere else, they will have like groups, so obviously you can make friends there. And again, I'm gonna mention again, there is that Facebook group, Kathmandu Expats. So if you just want to hang out, and I've seen a lot of people do that, they'll just post like, you know, I'm here for this amount of, you know, days, I want to go here, does anyone want to join me? And then people will start a conversation with you. So don't worry at all if you are nervous about making friends, because trust me, everybody in Nepal is gonna open their arms wide open and they're gonna welcome you and make you feel like home. So if you have made it this far, thank you for watching my video. I know this was very long and very in-depth, but I hope you found it helpful. If you want any more videos like this in the future, then let me know exactly what kind of topics I should talk about. And in general, just let me know what you want to see from my channel. I am going to be here in Nepal for a few more months, so let me know if you want to see any more about my daily life, how, you know, different things are here compared to England, or just anything else from me, just let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn the notification bell so you can always keep up to date with any time that I post. That would really, really help me out.